full of Freemasons in here. Do you know the handshake yourself?
I have a feeling that I know it.
Everything he says you can record because everything he says is right.
Well,
This is fun. Yeah, this is fun.
Oh, okay.
This is fun.
I come away feeling a tiny bit uneasy as well.
I can't pinpoint it. I can't pinpoint
Do
it.
you feel like that as well?
Yeah, I do.
It's allowed me in some ways to progress my career.
Do you mind like showing
Yeah,
me
of
what's the
course.
demonstration?
I thought it was something like what you see.
So, if I'm joining the Freemasons, the way they talk about it is with these stones, these ashlar stones. Okay? So originally, this is me. During the Freemasons, I'm a rough outline of a man that they want me to be.
That's how I've always thought of you, Chris, a rough outline of a man.
Thank you. If you go into Freemasonry, the idea of Masonry is to sculpt, to make better. So they sculpt you, they make you better into that more refined stone, that more refined man. Do you think that will work on me?
I don't know, Chris. It's a risky one. It's a risky one to do. But I think it's probably a good way to get on the inside if we can go about it the right way.
Okay.
So if we're going to do that, we need to get you dressed and looking sharp. We need to get you in some high quality clothes. Not to criticise your fashion sense too much. We need to get you in something the Freemasons will appreciate so that you really look like you're one of them. So Chris, let's go and get you dressed up into a better man.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay, well, I reckon the Freemasons will let you in 2 seconds. No joining process.
Exactly.
You won't even have to drop the trousers this time. I am pleasantly surprised. I was really worried he's going to pick out some sort of slightly shit blue suit, but I think that looks really nice on him. And I think we've got a good fighting chance. The Freemasons will accept him as part of them, and maybe he'll become a smooth ashlar if we're lucky enough, a better man.
I'm back.
He's off to buy a suit and become a Freemason member. Hello Chris, you look the part!
I feel the part. I feel ready to become a Freemason.
To become a Freemason.
To learn more.
To be
about Freemasons.
indoctrinated.
You can put it like that, that's fine. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that.
Let's
Okay,
go.
I'm ready. Let's go, let's go. This building, it screams presence. For a secret organisation to be so open, it's contradictory. It makes you think more about the organisation. Really, how secret are they? Is it more open than we thought? We're in the Grand Lodge. We're
You've
waiting
arrived.
for interview and access, and I'm happy. I feel comfortable. It's like a class.
It is, isn't it? I almost feel too comfortable. They were too nice, too welcoming. I'm optimistic as well. We're
Intrigued.
waiting. Yes, I'm intrigued too. I'm seeing what we can find out. So Chris, what were your main goals again?
History and secrecy, they're the main things that I think, are important to this organisation. We want to sort of understand better
I agree
these
with that.
questions.
The twist of it with me is I want to understand it and sort of uncover the corruption of that, try and get them to admit some stuff.
We're playing good cop, bad cop.
Yes, exactly. It's classic.
It's classic good cop, bad
It's a
cop.
classic way to go about it. I think Chris is already swayed. He's already close to being indoctrinated just because of how comfortable these sofas are. We're currently waiting to meet with, what was the name again?
Sean Butler, the Deputy Marketing,
Deputy of Marketing,
who is a Freemason.
obviously.
And before we do the interview, we're going to look around and see just what's around, see
Yes.
if there's anything else that we can understand before we ask our questions.
Or discover. How do I feel?
Yeah.
I'm feeling very excited.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's a good way of putting it.
I just want to know the history and the secrecy.
Yes,
That's my main concern.
that's your main concern.
Exactly.
And if you can join.
Well, that is also a concern. But
I mean, that's more the guys, isn't it?
it's true.
Deputy of Marketing is taking his good sweet time, but hopefully we'll be on our way soon.
And then go down and maybe we'll arrive here again.
That sounds good.
I am not Freemason.
Is that because was a woman who was black.
No. Everyone can be Freemason, woman or man.
Really?
We have lodges for women, we have lodges for men.
I thought that there was a women's Freemasonry organisation, but that wasn't officially
Yes,
recognised. by
they are.
Freemasons.
They are recognized. We work closely together.
Really?
Everything you do here, we involve the women Freemasons as well. It's another organization, yes, but we work everyone together.
But you're not a Freemason.
Not myself, but I'm going to.
Really?
I didn't have time to do my membership because COVID, pandemic.
Oh yes, of
So
course.
because I started work here 2 years ago when the pandemic started.
At the end of this whole process, this is the idea of what I'm supposed to be, what a Freemason is supposed to be. A smooth stone, a smooth ashlar pillar. Interesting, it's interesting. They talk a lot about the history, they talk a lot about the openness, the democratic nature of the organisation, something that I wouldn't associate with an elitist organisation.
So the woman who was just telling us about the museum told us that Spencer Churchill here, and he was a Mason, but he never was voted into Grand Master or anything like that, probably because he was busy fighting the war. I think he was in the Freemasons a lot, and he did frequently participate, but not as often apparently as he should have done.
So I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Let me know when to start.
He's the guy you're going to film. Everything he says you can record because everything he says is right.
This is the Kent Room, and this is named after our Grand Master, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent. This is essentially what we would consider to be a rather typical lodge room layout. So as Freemasons we meet in what's called lodge rooms. And this room, as I say in particular, is dedicated to His Royal Highness, who served as our Grand Master for a hell of a long time now.
They're lovely paintings actually. Who were they done by? When were they done?
Well, the past Grand Master there on the left, the former Duke of Kent, that would have been painted before his death. He sadly died in a plane crash, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so he became Duke of Kent at a reasonably young age, I think, certainly younger than he would have anticipated. You know, Freemasonry and the royal family do very much have historic links,
Yes.
a lot of connections.
Yes.
Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, was a Freemason
Yeah.
for a considerable amount of his life. The Duke of Kent's brother, Prince Michael of Kent, he's also a Freemason. He's the Provincial Grand Master of Middlesex. Not that I'm biased, but I do think this is the premier Art Deco building within London. It's a big claim, and there's a lot of competitors.
Yeah, fair enough.
But actually, if you take a look around, the building has been designed to the centimetre. We accept people of all faiths and religions.
Yes.
The one faith and religion that we don't allow is Satanism,
Well, that's good.
obviously,
Yeah.
because it's the opposite of the values and whatnot of the organisation. But we have members, thinking about my own lodge, we have Muslim members, Jewish members, Hindu members, Sikh members, Christian members, non-practicing members. There is a requirement within Freemasonry to have a belief in a supreme being. They predict about 40,000 Freemasons were killed during the Holocaust as a result of their membership of Freemasonry, both Jewish and non-Jewish.
I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of Nazis are actually Freemasons themselves, aren't they?
Well, I mean, certainly prior to the establishment of the National Socialism within Germany as the sort of predominant political movement at the time, Freemasonry was very popular in Germany,
Yes, I expect so.
and continues to be today, as it was all over the world at that time, especially after the First World War, when actually people, as they left service, found that they wanted something to replace that camaraderie, that fellowship that they made in the trenches of the First World War. And Freemasonry, in a lot of cases, found that. So if you sort of look at, again, at the shrine, you'll see the number of people that actually joined Freemasonry as a result of that was huge. Hitler and Nazis were, diametrically opposed to the values of Freemasonry. They saw it very much as a global Jewish conspiracy.
Wow.
And in fact, there was a conference within Germany itself and an exhibition that displayed a number of Masonic artifacts that they'd gathered as they, as the Blitzkrieg and whatnot continued across Europe. And as I say, about 40,000 Freemasons were killed in concentration camps, both Jewish and non-Jewish, as a direct result of their membership of Freemasonry. Documents were recovered that showed that they actually had lists of senior Freemasons within England itself in preparation for their invasion of this country.
Christ.
In which case, if they had invaded, those people would have been arrested and shipped off to concentration camps.
They were more of a target.
Diametrically opposed to Freemasons, as I say, to the point that they were actively seeking them and killing them in the gas chambers.
Greek inspiration in Freemasonry?
There's ancient Greek, there's sort of Syrian, there's just a hell of a lot, and actually that's related a lot to some of the sort of, I guess, what you might consider sort of Old Testament stuff that actually does bring in a hell of a lot of heritage from a number of different countries and sources. And again, this room itself is absolutely chock-a-block with Masonic symbolism, parts of the ceremony, absolutely, but this room in particular. My name's Sean Butler. I'm the Deputy Director of Communications and Marketing at the United Grand Lodge of England. I became a Freemason in 2015. I've now been a Freemason for 7 years. I had sort of a couple of family members who had been members, and I would always sort of ask them about it, and they would we'd chat about it, and then they'd say, why don't you come along?
Of course, you say it's not non-religious. It feels like it's got a lot of that community religious sort of aspects, those sort of tenets, those sort of ideals. If you understand what I mean.
No, I do. I mean, I guess a lot of organisations have that, don't they? The main benefit and positive of Freemasonry is very much its teachings and what you can gain from it. But for me personally, it's the social side. It's the getting together with friends, And as I said, I've met people that I would never have thought I could have met otherwise. Look, it's amazing. It's a global organisation, so if it's of interest, you know what to do.
Yeah.
As I say, go away and have a think about
of course. From an outward perspective, before research, my understanding was it was quite elitist. I mean, I think the links with the royal family and all that as well.
It's a common misconception, it's a common one.
I think that's what I thought as well.
Yeah,
it's a common misconception.
I'll be honest, this doesn't help, but I understand it.
Again, if you think of it in the context as a war memorial, actually, it's entirely relevant. What better way for us to mark that sacrifice that those people made than with something like this, which is a living monument to their sacrifice.
I love this. It's brilliant.
What I found is that you actually sat around with people that you know and that had similar upbringings to you. And
where do the women tend to meet?
I think it's in Notting Hill. But again, similarly to us, they have meeting places all over the country. In fact, all over the world. I think one of them recently opened up one in the US.
So talking about what makes someone a Freemason, is there anything that would stop someone becoming a Freemason?
Generally, yes. I mean, there are some, I think, an awareness of what it is that you're joining for anything is important. Beyond that, if you have criminal records for certain offences, you're not allowed to become a Freemason.
Would you say that a lot of Metropolitan Police are Freemasons yourself? Do you think that's the case?
No, I wouldn't say that was the case. Certainly not a lot. We would have members that are Metropolitan Police officers, absolutely, because as I say, we welcome members from all walks of life, all professions, but there's no real sort of predisposition or anything in particular that would make it more likely that a Metropolitan Police officer would join or otherwise, really. If it was something that was of interest of them, fine, but there's nothing really inherently built into Freemasonry that would make them more likely to join, though.
Because I know that in the 80s it was a bit more controversial, wasn't it? There was a lot of controversy surrounding Freemasons. Because of that, the links of that and the Met. What do you think of that sort of public eye on it at the time and how that relates to now? Is there that much truth in it, or is it more just paranoia, do you think?
I think people generally are wary of what they don't know. We as an organisation have a responsibility to be more open and talk more about what it is that we do. What actually happened after the Nazis invaded Jersey, Freemasonry went underground, and it was just extremely slow about coming back up again. During that time that you mentioned, there was just not particularly a willingness or even a want really to come out and speak as often. We were very reactive in those days. If someone said something about us that was inaccurate, we would come out and address it, maybe. What we are doing now is we're being proactive. When you leave a space for inaccuracies and lies, people are going to fill it, and that is what happened.
Do you think that there are still there might be a few people who use the Freemasons to their advantage? Is there links to that and some corruption sometimes, or is that just not really a thing?
Guys, quick one. These questions are not in the papers.
Oh, these are just off the top of my head. Should I just stick to questions in the paper?
This is fine. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine.
Oh, okay.
This is fine.
Is that a myth?
It's very much a myth.
Okay.
It's very much a myth. I mean, if looking at our membership, you're talking millions in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Is there going to be one or two bad eggs?
Yeah.
Probably there is, as you would find in any membership organisation. Not enough attention, therefore, is put on things like the National Trust and English Heritage. The rules of Freemasonry are absolutely crystal clear in that anybody who does that and tries to use it for that advantage will immediately be expelled.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Could not be clearer.
That's really
And there are many, many examples throughout history of that exact thing happening, where when it's come to light that someone has used Freemasonry for personal gain, for monetary gain, whatever it may be, they have been kicked out of the organisation.
Wow.
I'm surprised at how open we've had of an experience. I think a lot of people think of secrecy. A lot of Freemasons, I think they think a lot of sort of disingenuous, but I think there's more to it than that. I think
it's complicated.
Yeah, sort of we came narrow-minded. I feel like we've opened our mind a bit more.
So how are we feeling now that we've done that?
It was interesting. It was eye-opening, but it was also narrowing. It was eye-opening in terms of the history. I feel like we learned a lot more about the Freemasons than we came in knowing. However, it did feel like we were pushed into a PR campaign.
Absolutely. I was very welcoming, and it was a very open atmosphere, but it was like a PR thing, wasn't it? And a couple of questions were slightly avoided and slightly sort of changed in terms of the answer. I think I've definitely got a much more in-depth understanding of the modern version of Freemasons and what they want it to look like they're doing, and what I think most of them are doing. I've come away feeling a tiny bit uneasy as well. I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure what that is.
I can't pinpoint it.
Do you feel like that as well?
Yeah, I do.
There's a slight uneasiness there for me. It was really interesting. It did all feel a tiny bit like an act.
It felt contradictory.
Yeah, that's it.
It felt like they were saying there's no secrecy, there's no stopping you from becoming a Freemason. Yet also what I was getting from being there is that there is secrecy.
Yes.
And there is an idea that not anyone can become a Freemason. It's not as open as they want you to believe.
Do they sort of make much more of an effort now to appear open and everything so that people don't fill in the gaps themselves? Maybe, partly with the wrong idea, but actually maybe sometimes with the right idea. Because if they appear so open to the public, no one's going to think anyone in there really has anything to hide. When in fact, that might be what the openness is sort of hiding, is the fact that there are still some things going on behind the scenes that we might not know
in plain
about.
sight.
It is exactly. Maybe there's lots about the Freemasons that you never really know unless you're in it yourself.
Which is why I'm excited for our interviews.
Definitely. Okay, well that's done.
Okay.
How are you feeling now that we're out of the lodge, away from the PR people?
Honestly, more optimistic than negative.
Okay.
I think before we went in, I thought there was a lot of, mystery and secrecy, and I thought we learned a lot and they opened themselves up to us, which was helpful. But even then, there's just something,
Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm being sceptical, but it feels like it was an illusion of them opening up to us so we wouldn't try and fill in the gaps ourselves. I don't know, I think part of that, there's a lot of truth in it, in the opening up, but I think it doesn't mean there isn't other stuff. I can't lie, halfway through I was starting to become slightly indoctrinated.
Very good talkers.
Yeah, they're very good talkers.
Very good talkers.
But I was left, as I said earlier on, with a sense of uneasiness.
Hi, I'm Cordelia and I work in the bar at Freemasons Hall.
Thank you, Jen, for agreeing to interview us and to be on camera. Basically, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on Freemasonry and what your sort of experiences are working around so many Freemasons when you're not a Freemason yourself and as a woman.
Yeah, it seems like a very friendly society. Everyone's really lovely to us behind the bar.
You said your father was a Freemason.
So he was a Freemason before I was born, and then he stopped when I was growing up because it can take up a lot of time.
Right.
Now that I'm a bit older, he's rejoined again. Me and Mum do joke about it being like a society with secrets. From everything that I've experienced, I've picked him up, for example, a couple of times after he's been for dinners. Everybody's there is just lovely, welcoming.
Since you've sort of seen the other side of it, you've seen how lovely it is. Where do you think those myths would come from then?
My opinion is that anything that's exclusively for one particular gender, maybe especially the male gender, it might just be seen as something that's a bit old-fashioned, and therefore people maybe don't know much about it, maybe are a bit nervous to know more about it. They have things like secret handshakes, I think, and they do perform certain not rituals, but like they do have like things that they do, and so anything like that, it just seems intimidating.
Do you know the handshake yourself?
I have a feeling that I know it, but I've never had it confirmed.
Really? What do you think it is? Do you mind like showing me?
Yeah, of
What's
course.
the demonstration?
I thought it was something like where you shake hands and then scratch the palm.
How strange, that's so random, isn't
But
it?
I don't know where I've got that from, to be honest. It's probably just rumours flying around the building that I've picked up on and had somebody show me it.
Yeah.
But I've never had it confirmed, and to be honest, I'm not going to ask because I know that it's meant to be private to them.
I mean, it would make sense that, so that in business situations you can just do it very, very subtly then.
Exactly. Despite working here, I've not had much exposure to what actually happens within Freemasonry. I only see them coming and having their drinks.
Me and Mabel feel like we could have got more information, and instead of doing our staged planned interview, we're going to see just outside the lodge if anyone wants to talk to us, just to see if we can find out anything more than we already have. All my effort to get in this lovely grey suit, to find out that most Freemasons wear black suits, is a slight hurdle, but it's good to know. It means we can look out to see if we can find any to talk to.
So at the moment we're in a pub in Cowan Garden right next to the lodge, and we're interviewing some Freemasons because it's full of Freemasons in here. So we're trying to find someone to target to get them taped.
Hi, this is Quinny here.
Like the lodge and like doing interviews and stuff. Are you a Freemason yourself?
I'm not though. Despite how it looks, we're not Freemasons. I don't know, it's a bit weird.
Kevin Asia, I live in Cambridge and I'm part of the Suffolk province of Freemasonry.
When did you become a Freemason?
Oh, about 15, 16 years ago.
Wow, that's a long time. That's a commitment.
Yeah, it is really about having a commitment. I've been a member of Round Table for many, many years. Then I got introduced to Freemasonry through some colleagues who are also Round Tablers. It's a great way to help charity.
In sort of the workplace dynamics that you sort of encounter since you joined Freemasons compared to before, would you say it's made you sort of, if you've got more integrity or sometimes less?
It hasn't helped the career progress. What it has done, it's probably gave me a bit of enlightenment and makes me understand people better. It's allowed me in some ways to progress my career. But I think it's just an understanding what people want and what people know about Freemasonry.
Have you ever been met with sort of controversy and some scepticism when you tell people you're a Freemason?
No, I think there's a misunderstanding of some people. A lot of people think Freemasonry is a secret society, but it's not. It's not a secret society. In fact, it's very open. There's so much information, as you've probably found out, you can find about Freemasonry. It's available on the internet. And we are not a secret society. We might be a society with secrets, in that a lot of the ceremonies we would not wish to become publicly known.
Right.
That's all about. It's about being part of it. It's about the reason you join it, to being a bit different, and to be able to. The progress or procession of Masonry is about being involved in those different secrets within the different degrees, and which makes it unique. And I think that's what makes people wish to join it. You want to progress. You want to know which the next step is, and that's really what it's all about.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you very much for your time. That's
You're
been
welcome.
very eye-opening.
Good luck, ladies.
Thank you so much.
It was very interesting.
It was very interesting.
I just did not expect to get as far as we did. I thought we would have been turned away straight away. Start something else, project dead in the water from the start.
Me too.
They were surprisingly open for an organisation known for not being very open.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, Sean touched on that himself, didn't he? So that's their tactic, is to get rid of that myth, as they say it is, by being so open, or appearing to be so open.
They even actually offered me to join. I thought that would not happen whatsoever in this documentary. I thought we'd come in and we'd have to push our way through and convince people, and we just talked. You just talked and you get in. And you got offered.
Yeah, she offered me a thing
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
Would you say I've become a better man through this whole experience?
Have you become a better man? Let's say yes. Let's say yes, Chris, just for the sake of your ego.
Indeed.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get anywhere with it at all. I thought they'd tell us to get lost. I thought, like you said, we were going to come up with a whole new project. But actually, we've ended up with loads of stuff.
We started as the Cowans. We started as those skepticists. But
and now we're even stronger Cowans.
Even stronger, even closer.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Maybe even bordering on the edge of a Cowan and into an actual Freemason. Who knows? Maybe I'll see you in there, Chris, on the inside.
Indeed. Maybe.
Maybe we will.
Scene 2, take 1. Action.
Okay, what did you say in the end? Like,
What did I say in the end?
Let's go make you a better man. Something along those lines.
So let's go and get you dressed into a better man.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's a bit rough though, that one. Nice. Bad. Stone. Also stone.
It's really difficult not to laugh and make a comedic comment.
just do the thing again. And you can look more skeptical. Yeah.
Just look skeptical.
Yeah. Like.
So if I was to say that's not a stone, what would be yours? Yeah, exactly.